So, pardon the noise, we're in the shop, but here we have the John Deere 4000 diesel. Around here, the 3-point lift arms, they sag pretty bad on this, so we'll have to pay attention to that. The PTO, your 2 hydraulic remotes. To unlock them, you have to have these levers out. You'll push the hose in, and then you'll turn it to lock it. Sometimes they stick, and you might have to put your finger behind them and pop them out when you're unhooking them. But this is one set, and this is another. So you'll have the motor hooked up to one for the stripper header, and then the other hooked up to the hydraulic cylinder to raise and lower the header. Sit for back there. So going up to the operator station. So keys down here. You'll turn it. I think there might be an electrical issue with it right now. Anyway, you'll see you'll hold it in the on position for a second, and then you'll crank it over to start it because it's got glow plugs. Clutch, brakes. Sometimes if you ever have the PTO decide to randomly go off or the hydraulics not work anymore, I found out the hard way. It doesn't make any sense to me, but it is what it is. You can't leave the clutch pressed in too long. You gotta let it out, and then your hydraulics will build back up, and you can have your motor will turn, and cylinder will raise and lower. These are your hazards. And then the gear shift on these are kind of weird. So park is up here. You can kind of see first, third, I think this is second and reverse. So that would be second. This would be reverse. Eighth. 7 and the 8th are kind of hard to go into. The gears are war in the transmission on this one, so sometimes you got to play with it a little bit to get it to go in, but it will go in eventually. And then when you're done, you just push that all the way over to the left and up to the top, and it's in park. This is your accelerator, or your governor I should say. So this controls the engine speed. There's a button on the floor that will also do it. It's really touchy though, so I always use this. Up here, there's a little knob over here, and I don't know how well the camera will pick it up, but you can click through your different gears. So that's how we figured out the speed that we're traveling with the RPM. When we have the combine hooked up, on the Alice at least, you have to have it just below this bar, ever so slightly, and I think that's the operating speed. I don't know what it'll be on the Oliver, but it should be close, around that area. So going over to the right console, we have the 3-point linkage lift. That's this lever, and then we have your 2 hydraulic remotes. So these you can just push them on depending on, that would be maybe like your motor on, and then your hydraulic cylinder, say. This would be your left remote on that side of the tractor, and that one over here would be to the further side. When we have the motor on, you just click it forward and leave it on, and then you can release it. It doesn't matter which way the hoses get hooked up into the tractor. You'll just have to give it a little bit, so you can, a little bit of a nudge, so you can figure out which way the direction is going. Because on the stripper header, we always want it to be picking up the wheat, and cylinders be pretty obvious, but that's kind of the rundown of the John Deere. And then when you want to shut it off, you just turn the key off, and simple as that.